Hello, all you beautiful people of YouTube. My name is Exellion. Welcome. Today, we're going to be going over a couple of Necromancer builds that are currently dominating the leaderboards on the PTR for Season 22 of Diablo 3. Stick around. So this build is going to be specifically about the Necromancer and the builds that are currently topping the charts of the PTR. And I believe we'll be topping the charts of Season 2 when it goes live, hopefully within the next few weeks. So it's not going to be a particularly long video because there's actually only about 2 builds. It's really actually just one build, but I'm going to split it up into 2 separate ones because there are some differences. So let's go over build number 1 real quick. The Necromancer build that I currently have on my screen. I call this Skelly Spears. I know it's catchy. You know, you can use it if you want to. Basically, it is a combination using the Jessuth set, skeletons, leveraging the damage boost that you get from using command skeletons, and combining that with the Carnival set to get extra boost in your damage. We'll go over it right now. So let's take a look. We got the Jessuth Skull Scythe and the Jessuth Skull Shields. Both of these are completely essential for this build. When the target of your command skeleton dies, your skeletons are automatically commanded to attack a nearby target. That's fantastic. And while your skeletons are commanded to attack a target, then you will be doing 400% increased damage. Now that is a huge, huge bonus. Just to give you an idea, that is the equivalent of 2 conventions of elements maxed out. That's just a crazy amount of damage, and I think that it would be silly not to leverage that set. Paired with the Masquerade of the Burning Carnival, the set that came out last season for the Necromancer, and like I said, is currently topping the charts. Literally every single Necromancer you're gonna find on the PTR is still using this set, is still using the Bone Spear build. But there is a new item called Gelmandor's Marrow Guards. These are new to the PTR, and they will be new to Season 22. Bone Spears cast from Simulacrums deal up to 500% increased damage. That is huge. Humongous damage. You're doing damage up in the 100 trillions. It's just insane. So we're using that set. We're also using Brig's Wrath. This isn't necessarily a required item for this build. You can substitute Frailty Early Grave with the Aura. So instead of using Early Grave, you can do Aura of Frailty. And in this way, anything around you will be cursed with Frailty, which automatically kills enemies with less than 15% health. And that's just, honestly, is just incredible. It's an instant 15%. Basically, it's like Culling Strike, but it's an aura form, curse form. As far as skills go, we are rocking the Grim Scythe with Frost Scythe. This will give us an increase in our attack speed, which will allow us to cast faster. It also slows enemies down, which is really nice. We are obviously using Bone Spear. We're using Blighted Marrow. This one will do damage, and for every enemy that it pierces, it will increase its damage by 15%. So this is going to really require you to stack enemies and kind of group them all up so that you can pierce as many as possible with your Bone Spear. Obviously, command skeletons, we're using Freezing Grasp because that extra CC always comes in handy. Simulacrum, we're using Blood and Bone. Frailty, like I said, Early Grave. You can use the Aura of Frailty and negate the need for Brig's Wrath. You could, you know, I've seen a lot of people do a lot of different combinations of items. You can use Augilds, or you could use Captain Crimson's here. I recommend using Dainty's Binding because you do have that 50% bonus damage reduction when stuff is cursed around you, and you're basically always cursing here. So I recommend Dainty's Binding. I think it's just phenomenal. Shout out to Dainty, by the way. She's awesome, in case you don't know her. Okay, next up, we have Bone Armor Dislocation. I think it's a really important one to be able to get a nice stun in there. And then these are our passives. These are things that you can kind of substitute in and out if you want. But I recommend, especially if you're going to go hardcore, popping in Final Service, using Serration so you can get maximum distance, pair that up with Zay's Stone of Vengeance. You're going to be doing a lot of damage at long range. Standalone. Now this one I think is kind of weird for this particular build, but it does still give you a nice boost in your defenses because, you know, even though I have currently 7 skeletons, this is only going to actually be 30% bonus defense. So you can swap this in and out with other skills. 30% isn't a huge amount, but it is still decent. And then Overwhelming Essence, we are using this because we are using Relena's Shadow Scythe in the cube. Let's go over the cube. Speaking of cube, let's check it out. We're using Maltorius' Petrified Spike, which reduces Bone Spear's cost to 40 essence, but also deals 700% increased damage. Raises Volition will give you 50% damage reduction if your essence is not full. I highly recommend that you never top off your essence. It's just always have your essence low. That way you can get that 50% damage reduction. Crispin's Sentence, this is definitely an important one. You do bonus damage to slowed enemies, and then this bonus will triple for enemies that are afflicted by any other type of control impairing effect. So whether it be frozen, which is why I want to use command skeletons, or with Serration, or you could use Bone Prison as a passive and get stuff Bone Prison, and that will give you another type of slowing effect. So pick your poison there. And then, like I said, Raylena's Shadow Hook. This will increase your damage by 0.5% for every maximum essence point that you have. So I recommend making sure that you have max essence on both of your weapon and your offhand. That way you get that 40 bonus essence. That's a nice 20% bonus in your damage right there. It's yeah, it's really good. So let's jump in. Let's see how this works. For the sake of making myself not look like an idiot, we're going to be doing a level 110 Greater Rift. We'll empower it too, because I got to level up some gems that I have. And obviously you want to make sure that you're casting your Bone Spear when your poison comes up with your conventional elements. You'll be doing a pretty hefty amount of damage once that happens. I've seen damage up in the 100 trillions pretty regularly coming out from my simulacrums, because they do have that bonus in damage. One thing I do like about Brig's Wrath is having everything grouped up nicely. Is just really nice. I know a lot of people like to run Aura of Frailty, which is also really handy, but having everything grouped up just makes it a lot easier to take out. I think it's a lot more fun too. They call it, the vacuum build with the Necromancer was pretty popular, especially last season, and it's gonna be popular again this season. So this is something you always want to make sure that you are maintaining your skeletons. Make sure that they are always attacking, and you've commanded them to attack a target. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on about a 400% damage boost, which is huge. So if your skeletons don't have a yellow border around them on your ability down there, then you're going to be missing out on quite a bit of damage. Now, the second build I'm going to be showing you guys, again, these are basically the same build. There's some slight differences that I think are pretty important. Now, the thing that we're swapping out right here is we're no longer using command skeletons. We're not going to be using just the set. Instead, we are going to be using Blood Rush to give us a little bit more mobility. Now, the lack of mobility in the skeleton set is actually its downfall as well. So if you want to play that build, it's a lot of fun to play. You're going to dish out a lot of damage, but you're going to get yourself into some pretty sticky situations unless you have maybe you have illusory boots or something somehow. I don't know. That's your call. So the build is set up pretty much identical to the other one. Simulacrum, Blood and Bone, Frost Scythe, Lighted Marrow, Early Grave, and Dislocation. But we're going to be using Blood Rush Potency that gives you a little bit of an armor boost after you use it. And our passives have changed only a little bit. We are using Serration still. This time we're pulling out a Bone Prison. Standalone is going to give us a lot more defense than before because we don't have any minions. And for the sake of softcore and high damage, we're going to be using Spreading Malediction. This will give me 1% bonus damage for every single enemy cursed nearby. So it plays very similarly. Let's check out the cube real quick. Still rocking Maltorius' Spike, Raz's Volition, Crispin's Sentence, but this time we're using Triggle's Corroded Fang. You can also use Raylena's Shadow Hook here. I actually do recommend it. I'm just not using it right now. And getting essence, maximum essence on your scythe and your offhand as well. I really enjoy Lost Time if you're going to be doing some speed running through G-Rifts. This is incredibly good, especially if you're using Frost abilities, because you get a 10% boost for 5 seconds, and it stacks 5 times every time you use a Frost ability. And I just think it's really a lot of fun to use. So let's check it out, see how it goes, and let's jump right in. I am actually out of G-Rift Keystones, so I'll be right back and go get one.
Hey, down here. Did you know that you can subscribe to the channel right now? Just click on the sub button. What are you doing? Come on, man, just go ahead and click on it. It's free. You don't have to do anything. Just click on the button and you'll be subbed to the channel. What's the big deal? I don't get it. Hey,
And I'm back. See how fast that was? That was incredible. Okay, so we got our Greater Rift key. Let's go ahead and do another 110 and power it because I need those gem levels, man. So like I said, it plays very much the same way as the other. You just don't have those skeletons, which you would think act as kind of a meat shield, but you'd be surprised at how very little enemies try to attack your skeletons and will just attack you anyway. So I find you can actually get some pretty good damage output with this build as opposed to using the skeleton build. The Jessup skull set is really powerful, but it's not, you know, it's a really hard comparison because right now, you know, you look at the leaderboards and you see both. You see a mixture of both kinds of builds, and I know it's really just up to your discretion and what you enjoy. If you like skeletons and maintaining that, that's great. If you want one less thing to maintain, I recommend going this one. It's a little bit lesser maintenance than the other build. This one can definitely dish out the hurt. And it has mobility, which is, like I said, one of the big downfalls of the Skelly Spears build is it doesn't have any mobility. So you can't really get away. If you get stuck in a corner, you're not going to be able to live for very long. So yeah, that's pretty much how it plays. Just like Skelly Spears, except we don't have skeletons. And instead we have Blood Rush, which will get us places a lot more safely. And that is really it. I don't have a whole lot of other builds to show off right now. I will go and experiment some when the servers go live. Again, the PTR is going to be going down in about 2 days time, 2-3 days time. We're going to be taken offline, and hopefully within the next few weeks we will have season 22 upon us. Expect more videos to come, other classes, other builds that I intend on making. I only really had the time to do Wizard and Necromancer builds for this particular series, but we will be releasing more videos in the future. Thank you guys for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below what your favorite build is so far that you've seen on the PTR. Any class that you want. If you want to do Barbarian or Crusader, just let me know what build is good. I'll look into it and maybe make a video on it next time. Take care.